Coach D and I were having a dialogue. It was really really great, and uh, you asked a question about how does a person know when they should just stay the course or um, when they should you said course correct, and so that's where this idea for this conversation tonight came from, right? Is it time to quit or time to pivot? Should I just continue to drive on, or do I need to go in another direction? And I really want to talk about that because a lot of us find ourselves frustrated, confused, feeling behind. A lot of those things that we talked about that came up in our exchange. But I want to go deeper into it because I was thinking a lot about it, and my answer is my answer, and we're going to lean into what my perspective is. But I really want to. I really want to have this conversation because again, I want to give some people some rocket fuel to help them to continue to launch out and help them to make that decision because a lot of people are sitting on the fence and it's time to move. It's time to make a decision and go.
Right. All right. Well, welcome everybody to the Coach Reese Experience. Everybody should know who we both are, but I'm gonna go ahead and reintroduce myself. I'm Coach D of the Davis Effect, but I am here in the capacity of Robin helping Batman with the Coach Reese Experience. And we're working together to share our lived experiences to help our listeners out. So tonight's question is it time to quit or is it time to pivot? And a lot of people, sometimes I would say more than enough people might sit back and they might be at an impasse. If there's a goal that they set out to reach and they haven't been able to reach it for whatever reason, life's challenges, or they're getting in their own way from blockage of depression or something that they just can't get over. Is it time to give up on that dream or that particular goal, or is it time to pivot to do something else? So, Coach Reese, let me know when you're ready, and I have my first question locked and loaded for you now. You ready over there?
So yeah, I'm loving this radio voice. I love it.
Hey,
So I'm gonna try
listen,
to
man.
I'm gonna try to stay focused while
Okay.
you using this radio voice. But let's dive into it.
Hey, it's too
That's
easy.
okay, family. Thanks for pulling up. All right. So yeah. So come on. Let's go. Fire the questions, and we gonna dive
Okay.
into it. I have a unique take on this.
All right.
And then let's get into it.
All right. So my first question is when someone, starts asking themselves, is it time to quit? What do you usually hear underneath that question? Now, before we get into you answering that question, I'm going to re-ask it now. When someone starts asking themselves, is it time to quit? What do you usually hear underneath that question? Now, the common rebuttals would be, I'm tired. I don't feel like myself anymore. Or I'm questioning if this even worth it.
Mm. And you're saying what do I hear?
Right. What do you
Okay.
usually hear underneath that?
Indeed, I hear. I feel stuck. I feel frustrated. I feel like I'm behind. Um, I'm. I know that more is available. Right. I see greater. It's right there. I see the next level. Right. And I'm reaching out, but for some reason I'm not quite able to get there, right? Like it's a little too wide for me to just leap across, and I'm trying to build a bridge, but I'm really struggling, and I'm like, what? How do I just stay on this side, or do I continue to work to get over on the other side where those things are that are waiting for me, so to speak? And so I hear that frustration, but I hear a desire to win, and I hear, you might have got hit on the chin a few times, but even with that, there's still a desire to move. There's a desire to win. There's a desire to get something done, even though you may feel a little defeated in the moment. So I
Okay.
think it's a mixed bag when someone finds themselves in that place. And then I think it's great because you had the courage to speak up. You had the courage to actually acknowledge that I'm in this particular space and I'm ready to move forward, especially if you're talking to me because I'm about to put batteries in your back.
Understood. What I've noticed is pressure exposes the heart, not just the problem. You ever notice that? You find out what you're made of when that pressure is applied. So,
Absolutely.
all right.
100%. That's uh, adversity introduces a man to himself.
Right.
That's another way of saying the same thing that you said, and that's one of the quotes that I live by. And because that's why I always promote getting excited by adversity. Adversity equals opportunity. Adversity doesn't show up to work against you. It shows up to to your point, right? To help expose your awesomeness that's buried in there. It pushes you to show up and play bigger in the moment. So it's actually not, adversity is your friend.
Okay. So, and my next question, in your experience, what is driving that thought more often? Is it fear, exhaustion, like mental fatigue? Not physical fatigue, but mental fatigue, frustration, or disappointment. Now, coming with the rebuttals, I missed the rebuttal. It's all of it. I don't know what I'm feeling anymore. I actually feel numb.
Okay.
What's your response to that question?
Absolutely. So I feel numb. So I hear some disappointment. I hear that someone who's crying out for some help, someone who needs a lifeline, someone who is having the right conversation with the right person at the right time. And so, pardon me, when those things show up, and the fact that you already had your rebuttals prepackaged, it's almost like, all right, Reese, I know what you're gonna say, but and it's like, all right, cool, fair enough, right? And guess what? I'm not one to argue against what you're feeling. You are frustrated. You have tried. You are you are experiencing some disappointment. You do feel like you let yourself down, or people let you down, or whatever it might be. All of those things are true.
Right.
But what I remind you is, what also true is that you're still standing. What's also true is you still have breath in your body. What's also true is you still care. Because if you didn't care, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Right? And
Right.
so because of, will do, bro, I appreciate you. And so, pardon me. So because you still care, because you reached out to the right person at the right time, that shows maturity. Right. So you're learning some things along the way, right? You're growing, you're developing. You haven't reached the point you desire to reach yet,
Right.
but you're still moving along, and you're still growing and making progress. So I'm gonna embrace your truth, but I'm gonna give you the next level of truth. Right? There's always levels of truth. And so I'm going to give you what's also true, and then I'm going to use that to start to show you,
Right.
remind you of how far you've come, right? You're not at step 99, but you're at step 38.
Right.
That's progress, baby. You were down in the valley. Now you're 38 steps up your mountain. And so it's my job to remind you of those things, and to help you to shake that off, right? And embody another level of truth, and get you to
Right.
start thinking about what you can do in spite of and because of your present situation.
What I've often noticed, especially when I was serving in the military, that fatigue often distorts perception. That mental fatigue can cause you to see things or feel things that aren't actually happening. It's just God allowing you to take that time, baby steps. Okay. So now I want to get into how thinking shifts under pressure. So what belief do people usually adopt when they start thinking about quitting, or start thinking that quitting might be the answer? And again, here I come with my rebuttals. I'm behind. This should be easier by now. Or other people are passing me up.
This sounds
What do you
like
have
me.
to say about that question?
These are conversations I have to have inside myself. These are talks I have to have in the mirror, or when I go on my walks.
Right.
These are talks I have to have with myself. And so here's how I approach that. Pardon me. Wait, how did you phrase the question in the beginning? You said, what's
So
the
basically,
belief?
what belief do people usually adopt when they start thinking
Yeah.
quitting might be the answer for them?
Got you. Because I want to make sure I don't just go on one of my rants. I want to actually answer the question. So the beliefs that take over are what I call the destroyers of men. I'm not capable. I'm not worthy. I'm not enough. And
Right.
because you're moving along and the frustration starts to kick in because you start to tell yourself a story about what things should be, or where you should be, or what you should have. And then you shit all over yourself and you find yourself stuck.
Right.
And so I believe that those ideas, those beliefs, those voices start to get loud, and
Right.
you start to literally go through your list of reasons why it's not working.
Right.
That's a dangerous place, because we'll start to say, well, had you done this, it would have worked. Had you not done this, it would have worked. Had you chosen this partner, it would have worked. Had you
Right.
not did this, had you chose this major, had you not cut this corner, had you jumped over this, right? And so we start to weaponize the information that we have about ourselves against ourselves, and that comes through the belief of, I'm not worthy, I'm not capable, I'm not enough. And then we start to feel like we need to do more, or even worse, become someone or something different
Right.
in order to, right, in order to embody what we want to embody in this season.
Right. So is it fair to say that your beliefs can shape your direction?
Fair to say, that's the absolute truth. That's the absolute truth. Because your beliefs, right? Beliefs show in your actions.
Right.
So my beliefs, I don't tell you what I believe.
Right.
I think, speak, and act in a particular manner, and that's what outlines my beliefs. So I don't have to
Okay.
tell anyone, right, what's important to me, what my beliefs are, what my values are, right, what type of man I am. I never have to make that announcement. I've never made those announcements. I
Right.
just live a particular way based off of those beliefs. So it's more than fair to say. So if you find yourself in a particular space, right, then it means that there are some beliefs you may have that need to be challenged, or beliefs
Right.
you have that you need to challenge, that you may not even be aware that you even have beliefs about that.
Understood. So how do you personally define the difference between quitting and pivoting? And would you say like the rebuttal is I don't want to keep lying to myself? And I don't even understand why would someone rebuttal that, but that sounds like something that I would say.
Been there. Been there. I've been there. Again, these are conversations. I'm telling you, you're literally broadcasting some of my inner conversations. And I ain't talking about ancient history either. Um, Pardon me. And so you mentioned the difference there.
Right.
And so, because quitting quitting is final, right? Quitting is literally throwing in the towel. It's packing up your things and just walking out of the gym. It's literally, it's not, it's just, exiting the ring and leaving the arena. It's,
Right.
you have zero chance of, when you quit, right? Plug in whatever
Understood.
you will. And
Right.
so quitting is final, and quitting is extremely dangerous because of the energy that follows us drawing a finish line, right? When we're talking about the pursuit of a thing, and the thing is a higher expression of us, a better version of us.
Right.
So that's a dangerous place to be. So we don't want, so quitting, I believe, this is how I want to say this, right? And it may derail your questions, but I'm sure you'll be able to bring it back in.
Right.
I believe that we need to quit and pivot. We need to quit some of the unhealthy habits that we have. We
Right.
need to quit some of the ways that we think about ourselves, some of the ways that we speak to ourselves. So there's a list of unhealthy things that we do that we need to quit. We need to quit, again, those habits, those rituals. We need to quit those conversations that cause us to shrink. We need to break free of, or quit those mindsets that we developed when we were still in survival season, right? We need to quit the excuses, right? We need to quit waiting for things to be perfect. We need to quit a long list of things. We need to quit blaming what had happened was, right? Blaming yesterday for how we show up today.
Right.
So we need to quit a lot of things, right? We don't need to quit on ourselves, but we can all create a laundry list of things that we need to quit, right? And then transition over to, so that we can then pivot.
Right. Can you personally, I tend to think about this question, like, can you personally think of a time when quitting felt easier, but pivoting was the wiser move for you?
Brother, listen, can I think of a time? Yes, this is a conversation I have with myself weekly.
Okay.
You know, um, I'm figuring things out. Yes, appreciate you. I'm figuring things out. I'm working my way along, and then the frustration comes in, the confusion comes in. I start to question the process. I sometimes question God. I question me. I question, did I hear you properly, Lord? I'm questioning my purpose. I'm questioning whether or not the work that I'm doing was yet for a season, and that season has come to an end, and now it's time to transition into something else. This happens all the time. And then what happens in my case is I'm having these conversations with myself, and I'm working and I'm processing through this, but I never stop moving forward. And I believe that's worth investing some energy into. See, when I'm having this conversation, thanks for pulling up, family. When I'm working through this, right, I'm still moving forward. I'm still showing up for myself. I'm still checking the boxes I need to check. I'm still doing the things that I know to do. See, I never stop moving, even in the midst of these struggles that I'm having, this inner civil war, this battle that I'm dealing with. And so I need people to understand that you don't stop and figure it out. You keep going, keep going, keep going. Do what you know to do. Yes, you do. And if you don't, call me. Keep doing what you know to do. Keep building. Keep developing yourself. Keep becoming better. Keep working the problem as you're navigating through these things. So again, this is something I explore all the time. But then because I don't stop moving, because I continue to show up, because I continue to have the tough conversations, and because I continue to invest in the people, right, and do the things. I have clients I work with, I have my wife, I have children, I have brothers like yourself, right? I have people that I'm plugged in and connected to,
Right.
right? And so, thank you. We're working that problem right now. Um, okay.
Is there an echo or anything?
Yeah. We need to do
Can they
so.
still hear? Can they still hear the echo now?
I don't know. We're going to see if it gets too ugly. We're going to cut it off. Sheila, hey, what's up, family?
Because we
Those of you
can.
those of you tuned in on TikTok, the Coach Reese Experience, you can jump over to YouTube, the Coach Reese Experience, because that's the primary focus here. TikTok, I love y'all, but that's the primary screen that we're using. And then that'll solve the problem. But I'm gonna keep going making this point. So pardon me. So yes. So while you're battling, you got to keep battling,
Right.
right? While you're battling, you got to keep battling. You got to keep moving. So in my case, you said, um, do I consider quitting, or does quitting show up when pivoting is absolutely the best move? So what I think about is, okay, what I need to quit in order to pivot, right?
Okay.
What I need to put down versus what I need to pick up, and right, and how I need to continue to grow and develop and again work the problem. So don't stop moving. That's the dangerous part, is when you stop moving, because then the problem begins to grow and grow and grow while you're sitting still and you're yet shrinking and shrinking and shrinking.
Okay. So
Wait. Before we go on, let me see here. I just want to make sure that I'm honoring the supporters that we have. I really appreciate y'all. My sis in the building, Didi. What up, family? Let's see. Didi said, I told someone today, even if you don't know what to do, what is the
yeah.
next thing you can do to get you where you say you want to be?
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
What, take the next right step. That's why I always talk about fundamentals, right? Thank you for that, family. You know, there are fundamentals, right? There are always things that you can do to improve you while you're waiting. As Bishop used to teach us, right? Be a waiter while you wait. Take care of yourself. There's always something to do. We're sitting around waiting on an answer or waiting on clarity, and clarity comes from engagement. There's always something we can do. So we need to stay active. We need to be consistently investing time, energy, effort, and money into our personal growth. No matter who you are or where you find yourself, there's always 100% of the time something you can do to improve your situation. And that will help you to get to where you want to get to my sister's point. Appreciate you.
Indeed. I think with the sound, and sorry to interrupt, with this sound, when it comes to going through both devices, I think what I'm going to do, we're going to stick to this red box. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to log off the TikTok because
Okay.
it's just not talking right now. So
Fair enough. Fair enough. It's at Reese Inspires or the Coach Reese Experience.
okay.
I
All
believe
right.
the link is on my page, Sheila, but it's if you go to at Reese Inspires or the Coach Reese Experience, you'll find us there. Appreciate you, family.
We'll get in behind the technical difficulties at a
Derek
later
told me to
time.
hit him up, and that's what he
He's the
does. That's
subject
his
matter
thing.
expert.
Yeah, that's his thing. So I will get with him so we can work.
Now, if anyone
All
could
right.
answer, is
Davis is
there
not
any
echoing. All
echo
right,
that
so it
they're
must have
hearing
been me.
now? Are they hearing any echo right now?
Now it's better because of the delay. I was myself better for me because for me like 2 seconds later, so it was really messing with my head, but I was just pushing through it. See, keep working while you're working the problem. Keep going.
Yeah, that's too easy. The
We're gonna
devil's
give
a
it a few
liar.
seconds now. You exactly. That means we're breaking through some things. So
Right.
we're gonna be patient now. Second, and to rocking, we're gonna roll. Appreciate y'all patience in the subject. Coach D is dropping some amazing questions, and of course, I'm swinging for the fences.
Okay. So we gonna keep we
We
gonna keep going with
we
it.
fixed it. Thank you, family.
Too easy.
Yes. Let's keep going, fam.
All right. So now the questions that I'm asking you is basically how your point of view is, and it's also asking like personal experiences that helped you get to make that pivot to become the man of service that you are today. You've been in service since 1998. We want to keep it going.
98, baby.
All right. So now, speaking of your last, answer to the question, at that time, what made that decision so difficult in the moment? And I'll tell you something that I said, when I was going through my time. I didn't want to pivot out of what I was doing because I had spent so long investing in it. So I said, look, I don't want to waste the time that I've already sacrificed. So
Gotcha.
I
Gotcha.
didn't want to quit. But what
Okay.
made that decision so difficult in the moment for you?
It definitely wasn't. Okay. So here's what I want to answer honestly. What made the decision difficult? So I'll have a moment where I'm like, okay, this isn't happening at the pace that I need it to happen. I have things I need to take care of, and I'm an all in all the time person. And so I don't want to dabble. I'm not much of a dabbler, right? I'm all in. And so I'm saying, okay, if I'm going to transition from doing this type of work, right, I need to completely just step away and I need to start investing my time and energy and effort and money into, right, into my new venture, my new mission. And then when I start to look at some things, I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to put in a couple hundred hours, right? I'm going to have to put, I always say, I'm going to have to put in 1,000 hours of mastery. You know what I mean? Which I'm about that life. And then I'm always like, well, I need to just put in 1,000 focused hours doing what I already do because I have an unfair advantage, right? I have a,
Understood.
I have a ginormous advantage when it comes to doing this type of work, serving people, sharing information and ideas, offering perspective, right? Coaching, mentoring. I've been doing this almost my entire adult life. So I have an unfair advantage. If I go do cybersecurity, I'm starting from zero with everybody else. And I'll figure it out. And then what will happen is my people skills and who I am will help me to rise because I'll have the technical skills, but then I'll be me. You know what I'm saying? So I'll still do the thing, and it'll still work to my advantage. All the things that I've learned, but then it's like I need right like I might as well just keep going, right? So, but I always circle around that, and I dance with it sometimes because I'm like, you know what I mean? And I'm always like, yeah, but then it's like, you know what? Let me give it a go. Let me give it another go. Let me give it another go. And then again, the thing that always holds me now that I'm saying this and God is downloading some things. See, I have clients that I work with, and I'm the go-to person for so many people. I always say I'm 911 for a lot of people. And so what happens is, even when I'm feeling a little blah and I'm working through this, again, I never stop pressing forward, and I'm still working with people. I'm still having a call with brother so-and-so and sister so-and-so and this couple, and you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, my cousin is reaching out, and my wife's uncles or my wife's cousin, they're going through some things, and they're reaching out, and this is going on, and this is going on. So I'm still operating in my ministry, right? I'm still walking in love and doing what I do anyway. So I don't get to do a clean break, because then I would be being disobedient. So there's always that, but I still wrestle with the decision. So for me, it's always pivot, right? But then I think about, okay, what do I need to quit? I need to quit even having this conversation with myself and wasting the energy. When it shows up, what I need to do is push the button and go live and pour into some people, because that's what I love to do. And then I can shake that nonsense. See, it's when I'm not doing the thing, and then I start checking accounts and looking at this and minding other people's business and getting myself off track. And now I'm flirting with other things that aren't my business. So now my go-to is, let's push this button. And now I just want to acknowledge you, man. I love you. I appreciate you. I thank God for you. Thank God for your support. Thank God for you showing up in this season and saying, yo, I got you, right? I want to help you. I'm the person you need. Let's rock and roll. And the genuine, just who you are at your core, it shines through. Your motives are pure, and I had someone hit me up today to acknowledge you. They said, we know you're going to do what you do, but you know, the gentleman that you're on there with, the questions, the way he's handling you, the way he's, you know, helping set you up, even the way he's challenging you to go deeper and do more and all the things is amazing, and you really need that. And so I just want to acknowledge you and give you your flowers, right? I know I do it in private, but I need to give you your flowers publicly.
I appreciate that. And I want to piggyback off of what you said. I greatly appreciate you doing that. But I want to say to our listeners, it's important to find your safe space where you don't become mentally drained or mentally or emotionally drained, where you try to do everything by yourself. It's always good to either find a group of people, if not a group of people, that one person that you trust. What's happening nowadays are a lot of people are finding out that what they consider to be a safe space may not necessarily be a safe space. And so what we're doing is, what I enjoy doing is, I love to see people win. You know, I call myself the Human Planet Fitness. I have no judgment at all. I have opinions, but I don't have judgments. And so what I'm doing tonight with this question is, I want to put the pressure onto people and get them to look at it, what they might see as their fear might be masquerading as logic to them. You ever notice that sometimes that fear of pivoting, because it might be time for someone to pivot. You might have invested a lot of years in what you're doing, but pivoting is not quitting what you've invested in. It's changing the direction of how you present what you've put into yourself
100%.
To help others. So don't let that fear masquerade itself as logic, because that's where you need to talk to a Coach Reese, for someone that could help you say, hey, wait a minute, what you thought was logic, this is not actually what it is. So moving right along, and I want to kind of stick on this topic of pressure, fatigue, and decision making. When people are mentally tired and emotionally drained, how does that impact their decisions? Like for me, a rebuttal
Uh-oh,
that I'm
sorry.
going to say to you is a rebuttal that I'm going to come back is I shut down. I'm I just want the pain to stop. I can't. I've invested all these years in it. I can't. This algorithm is controlling how my information gets out. Like, come on. So what do you say?
And so when people are mentally and emotionally drained,
Yeah, how does
or
that
how does that
impact
impact their
this? Yeah,
decisions?
how does that impact? Or has that impacted any of your clients before?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay,
That's why I'm so bullish on the fundamentals, right? That's
okay,
why I always talk about the fundies. That's why I always talk about self-care,
right,
because one of the most important skills we can develop is managing our state, our mental and emotional state. And we need to be aware of our state, and we need to acknowledge when we're not at our best, and then we need to take the necessary action to get ourselves in a peak state. So we always want to function from a peak state. That's why I always talk about, when you don't take care of you, you are cheating yourself and your loved ones out of experiencing you, the greatest version of you, right? You're giving them a tired, weak, sleepy, broke, whatever version of you because you're not making the necessary investments into yourself. And that's why I stress eating, moving, and sleeping, right? And so when you solve for those, what you do is you let me back it up. The biggest challenge that most people have, if we take a poll, is energy. Feel like, right? I want to, but I just don't, man, I just don't, because I got these responsibilities and I got these children and I got this, and I just don't have the energy. And so, we can solve for that. Believe it or not, we can solve for that. And what we have to do is we have to get our rest in order. We have to get a good night's sleep. We can't be out here running on fumes, right? They say when you don't get a good night's sleep, they say less than 4 hours of sleep, the way your body responds is the same as drinking a 6 pack of beer.
right.
So you're walking around drunk when you don't get enough rest. You're not taking care of your body. And then when you eat garbage, right? So when you're not eating healthy, when you're not taking care of your temple,
Right.
and then when you're not moving and doing the things necessary. So if you solve for eat, move, and sleep, you magically generate energy.
Mm-hmm.
You generate energy. You don't just go out into the cosmos and find energy. You can generate energy. And so I start there. So to your point about making decisions when you're not in a peak state, no, right? I strongly, strongly advise against that. And one of the skills that I work with people to develop is how to acknowledge and recognize when you're not in a peak state and how to immediately move in that direction and then to raise your standards so that you never drop below a particular point. I'm never below 75% ever. I'm at 75% in my sleep. I got boys out in these streets. So if my ringer is on. So if I get an alert at 2 a.m. and I got to pop up, I'm ready. I'm locked and loaded. That's just me. But the way that I'm able to do that is via the care and concern, the self-care and self-love and the investment of time, energy, effort, and money that I make into myself so that I can readily make these adjustments. Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes a lot of sense. And again, this is why I like getting you to divulge in how you coach. But also I want people to understand there's nothing wrong with getting an education and going and getting a psychology degree and getting a doctorate. There's nothing wrong at all. It actually allows you to help your clients better. I am someone that I've related to people that help me that has not theory but lived experience. So that's what I wanted to show. The lived experience compared to education is it's not the same, but I want some realistic perceptions and,
Yeah.
and perspectives. So I
And the,
appreciate you
the beauty
answering
of
this.
working with me is
Right.
I'm out here in these streets living and have been, and I've lived an insane, amazing life. And and I have the book knowledge as well. I read the same books and do the same writing and do all the things. I just didn't do it in an official capacity. But if I could take all the books I've read and all the writing I've done and all the things I've done, I've earned a PhD. But that's neither here nor there. So I have both. That's the beautiful part.
Now, I want to get into stillness. My next question is going to be based around stillness. Now, I will mention this to say what I did was I took a tactical pause from TikTok. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I did that is I had to sit still. Now, some people say silence is a killer. And it's not necessarily a killer. It allows me to get my alignment correct for the assignment, because my alignment had veered off because I got caught up into the goofiness, as you say. You got my son saying that, just let you know.
I love it. So, shout out to the young fellas.
But, you know, that's why it's okay to take a pause. But some people think that they'll say as a rebuttal, well, hey, coach, if I take a pause, I'm gonna quit. You know, I'm gonna quit. I'm not coming back. You know, when I left the TikTok streets and other social media venues, I was like, yeah, I'm done with it. I told you that. You was like, I'm gonna let the young boy, I'm gonna let him go ahead and
I'm gonna let him
leave. I'm gonna let him leave TikTok. He'll be
back.
Give him
a minute. So.
Yeah, he did the Arnold Schwarzenegger hit. I'll be back. Yeah,
exactly.
I heard you over there, and then I came back. But let's stick into the subject matter at hand. So, how do you coach someone to take that pause before quitting when their emotions are running the show?
So this is an interesting question. So let's talk through it, right? I am one who wants to drill down, peel back the layers, and get to the actual root of the issue. And so when I hear someone is overwhelmed by their emotions, or someone is feeling like, you know, there's just too much going on, I got too much on my plate, or this is happening. So I'm like, okay, what's actually happening here? Oh, okay. I need to get better at self-management. I need to develop a healthier relationship with my emotions. I need to develop my self-discipline. I need to shift my focus, because, you know, if I'm hyper focused on X, then I'm not focused on Y. And so I'm looking at what's actually happening, not the surface thing. And now you have to know yourself, right? And so if you're adamant that you need a break, then my challenge to you is, okay, we're going to make this the most productive break ever. This ain't no put your feet up break. This ain't no wiggle your toes in the sand break. This ain't no just, you know, I'm not going to do my work, but I'm going to do no. If you're going to take a break from this particular thing, then we're going to solve for, right, the actual issue here. So if we need to, using that example, if social media is if it's just a little too much, then the issue is not social media. The issue is you. The issue is your discipline. The issue is how much time you're investing into it. The issue is how you're looking at it, how you're experiencing it, and the triggers that, you know, what it's triggering in you. And so we need to address those things. And so if you want to put it down for a while, and then we start to address those things, we talk about the triggers. Right? We talk about, you know, what it is you are experiencing. What are you blaming social media for? And now let's solve for what's actually happening, because social media is not doing anything to anybody. We're choosing to respond to certain things a certain way, right? It's like, that's just what it is. And so if, like, you used emotions, so we need to learn how to regulate our emotions. We need to learn how to, show up in a peak state, right, as we navigate our emotions, because emotions are normal. Emotion, it's fine. It's fine to feel this way and this way and this way and this way and this way. They're just signals, and they're signals that we need to develop a healthy response to. So when we have a healthy relationship with our emotions, then we can develop healthy responses to them when they show up. We can change what they mean. And so that's the real work. My homegirl Bettina, shout out to her, beloved, right? She always says, you know, you got to do the hard work of heart work. And I love that because it's very, very true. So we're talking about changing our relationship with emotions. So we're talking about all my life, I responded to disappointment this way. All my life, I responded to anger this way. All my life, I responded to frustration in this way. And now I'm having to take responsibility for myself and rewire and totally change how I respond to these things when they show up. And that's grown up work. That's real grown up work. However, that's the real work. That's the foundational, fundamental mastery that we need to achieve. And then it'll change how we interact with other people, how we deal with so whatever the thing is, right, that we charge it to, right? When we solve the thing that's going on underneath, then we can fix all of that. So that's what I do. I'm like, okay, I explore the actual problem, right? And
Yeah.
fundamentals, what we just talked about, self-care, learning how to change our state, and then learning how to acknowledge the emotion when it shows up. And then emotional maturity is what? I create a space between the emotion or the thing that occurs and then my response to the thing. And so I teach you how to process through that, how to feel disappointment, and then, right, how to create a space, think it through, and then how to use that disappointment as fuel for the journey. And that's the process that I take people through.
I like how you added that clarity, because see, a lot of people miss the point of the clarity part of how to get to solve their issues. You know, there was one point in time I felt like I was emotionally constipated. I felt like, listen, I don't give
I like
a,
that one.
I'm just saying, there was
Yeah,
times,
that's real.
it was times that I felt like I'm over this. You heard my famous, Danny Glover quote, "I'm too
Mm-hmm.
old for this."
Mm-hmm.
I sometimes I just get emotionally just over it. But I will say that it is required. Social media, in a sense, is equivalent to life's challenges. Meaning, what I'm noticing about social media, for instance, and if you're on it where you're this influencer or you're trying to be a mentor, such as yourself, what social media is life. It's a challenge. It causes you to peel back the layers of your creativity. Okay, it's not quitting what you're doing, it's pivoting to adjust to the sign of the times. And sometimes because us older folks, we don't want to adjust. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, so to speak. And that's where we're really doing it to help our community, because someone will tell you, if you were thinking like I was a couple of months ago, Reese, we need you. Why are you quitting? What you get more emotional than you are thinking about just pivoting. So the stillness will create clarity, but like you said, in that stillness you're still going to be producing work.
So
Okay,
let's
so
let's let wait before we go on because I think this is important because this is where a
yeah,
lot of people get lost,
go
right?
ahead. Yeah.
So the the stillness, right? We
Hmm.
have to be careful with certain things because people will use things as an excuse. Stillness sounds amazing.
Hmm.
However, right, people will, oh no, we'll find a cool line, a cool one liner or a cool new word, and we'll stillness sounds sexy. Stillness. No, I'm sitting and I'm doing, and we ain't doing nothing. We actually need to be working to solve the problem, working to
Right.
change some things, working to develop some things. So,
Right.
stillness in its true form, right? If we're talking about in the example that you gave,
Right.
would be, clearing out the clutter and
Hmm.
examining what's going on
Hmm.
and finding areas for me to attack.
Okay.
Finding, okay, what happened? How did I get here?
Okay.
Okay, that right? We're still and we're processing through and we're navigating through the situation, right? And we're learning from it, and we're clearing out the clutter so that we can solve the problem. But most people just will substitute one thing for another. If you go ahead and delete the TikTok, you just back on the gram. You know what I mean? Or if you do this, you just replace it with this. If you got rid of that, yeah, but now you just binge watching this, or you're just doing this. It's not. That's why I said earlier, we're going to make this a productive break, because stillness sounds good, and
Mm-hmm.
if we actually pursue and actually get and sit still and do the work, it's amazing. But sometimes we just take a minute and get right back and do more of the same. We haven't changed at all. We come back the
Right.
same.
Come back doing the
So
same
that's
thing.
the part. I just want to throw that out there. Like, okay, we need. If you stepping away, you need to be stepping away with a plan. I'm stepping away so that I can dot 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 dot. I don't like how I'm allowing, right? I'm allowing social media to dictate to me how I feel, or I don't like how I feel when I put this down or when I'm doing this, and so I need to do something, because I'm not going to blame this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? What's in me that I'm giving my power away, right? Because I have some control. So what's up
Mm-hmm.
with my self-control? What am I looking for? What is it that I need in my life? Where's the lack? What's the void that I'm searching to be filled, right? And then, right, I'm either not getting it, or I'm getting too much, or I am getting it, and then it's creating another void, and I need to
Right.
explore that. So if I'm actually going to do that, awesome. But if you're just taking a breather for breather's sake, like, that's going to make it worse, because then you're going to be beating yourself up because, man, I stepped away for 2 months and now I come back and same old, same old. Well, that's because you didn't do anything different. You didn't even say, all right, I was spending 2 hours a day on TikTok. I'm gonna spend 2 hours a day working on my book, or doing XYZ, or going to the gym that I claim I don't have time to do, or something productive, right? Spending it with the missus or the mister or the children, or the right. I'm doing something. You just substituted it, and still not being productive. So I ain't let y'all off the hook with, see, yeah, yeah, stillness, yes. No. No, 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 no. Stillness in its true form, absolutely. But not the stillness, y'all. No, not I ain't letting y'all off the hook like that. No.
And I'm glad you verified and clarified, because a lot of people will take a word and they'll change the meaning of it. Stillness for
Oh
me,
yeah.
stillness for me is, I'm going to replace what I used to do with something productive to learn a new skill, so
Love it.
that when I do make the return, I'm coming back in a different form, and maybe perhaps able to better express myself to my audience, because I took time to invest in a new skill. Not stillness
Beautiful.
as in I'm not going to work out. I'm just going to sit back and go to the backyard and go in the pool and just waste time. I'm going to be productive. So thank you so much for verifying and clarifying that for us.
Of
Uh,
course, brother.
so now
This
I,
is
I
fun. I
know
like
that
this.
I know that we're staying on this quitting or pivoting, but there's a point in the method to my madness. I want to go through the things to dissect why people always make a mistake to quit instead of pivoting.
Hmm.
So now, in the line of work that you've been doing, what are some of the signs that tell you someone is quitting for the wrong reasons?
Mm. Oh
Like
yeah.
they say, it feels right to me, because motive matters, right?
Oh, big time.
So,
Big
so how
time.
would what's some of the signs that someone is quitting for the wrong reason? Give me your
Um.
top five.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay. This is interesting. Most people um underestimate what it takes to accomplish a thing. Mo- I'm talking about vastly underestimate. And, you know, that causes a lot of people to throw in, we create these timelines in our heads, and guilty is charged, right? Um, and, and then what happens is we start to, so you asked for five, right? So one, we grossly underestimate what it takes to accomplish a thing. Grossly underestimate. So that's one. And then another, and they're all connected, obviously, right? Another thing is that the internet gives the illusion of easy. And the illusion of limitless options. It gives the illusion of easy, and it gives the illusion of limitless options. And so people will be confused at times because, like, well, why? You know what I mean? What do you mean? Because look, everyone is, and if it all these people, right? So that it creates an illusion, and then again it starts us, to start bugging out. And then along with that illusion, because we're all connected and we're all sharing our lives, and sadly most of what we share are grossly over exaggerated, we get caught in the comparison trap because of that. And then we get into the couldas and the shoulds, and then we're looking at, and I'm looking at this person like, man, how is he? Da, 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 da. I'm better than that. How is she? Da, 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 da. I'm da, 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 da. And we get caught up in that. And then that will cause us to say, well, maybe, and we'll make up a story around that. What else? What else? We People don't really understand how big the world is, because this gives the this does connect us, but it connects billions of us, and we don't understand that this makes it seem like the world is smaller, but the world is ginormous. And people don't understand the fact that if I make a post, right, it's not in, we'll pick on TikTok, it's not in TikTok's best interest to show it to all 5,000 plus of my followers when I post it. No, because they get paid, right, for people to promote posts. They get paid for, right? They get paid for people to show up. Because if I post something and say, hey, I'm live on, what is this thing? YouTube. I glitched for a minute. Sheila, you saw that? I'm live on YouTube tonight at this time, and I post that on my TikTok, and they actually show all 5,000, 5,000 people are saying, peace out, TikTok. I'm going over here with my old head, and we vibing on YouTube. So it's not in their best interest to do that. And so we think, I posted it, nobody liked it. And I'm like, well, nobody saw it. I didn't see it. You and I, so perfect example, you and I, our phones know that we communicate often. We text, we talk, we're clearly connected online. We do lives together, all the things. I don't see your posts unless I literally go to your page and like, oh, shoot. And so that's why I don't feel a way when I don't, you know what I mean? When a lot of eyes aren't on my posts, because I understand it's not personal, but most people don't get that. And then people will start saying, people won't support you, and we'll spin out because we don't understand how these things actually work. So in the time of unlimited information, we're extremely uninformed or underinformed.
Right.
Is that 5? I can give a lot.
You give me one more.
Okay.
One and you're done.
And I believe that we we don't understand how self-centered we are, and we forget that everyone is out here living their lives, and everyone at a given moment, everyone is watching a different movie. Everyone right now, the people on here, is having a totally different experience. Now, I'm there's one you, one me. We're speaking. We're doing what we're doing. This hand thing means something different to everybody. Everyone's watching a different movie. The world is not sitting around tuned in to watch you breathe and noticing everything you do. That's not how the world works. However, we confuse ourselves into thinking that is so. and it creates a self-consciousness, and then it makes us think that we're alone and we don't have any support. There are people who don't know who Beyonce is. There are people who don't know who, if she walked past, they would be confused, like, whoa. Like, what the heck is happening? What is going on? There are people on earth who don't know who Beyonce is. I picked her because she's a mega star, right? But there are people who don't know who she is. So, Lord forbid they don't know who Reese McNeil is. You know what I mean? But we have this, right? And we think that there's this betrayal going on, but it's because of a lack of understanding of how the world works. And then it turns into self-betrayal because we don't understand how the world works. So then we start to betray ourselves because we think we're being betrayed.
Mm-hmm. You ever notice that when, and I'm going to get back on the topic of what the question was tonight. I want to say this. I've noticed that whenever I've been in a depressive state or mood, somehow or another, other people, I come in contact with their misery, and they give me misinformation from a broken vessel. You ever notice that sometimes when you're going through that quitting or pivoting, you might run into other people that are quitting? And so you think that you've been aligned with, you know what I'm saying, with other people. So it must be, that's a sign, because I got 5 other friends of mine or people that I associate with. Mm-hmm. They say they're ready to quit. And sometimes that's not, again, that weariness can cause that misinterpretation of what it is. So this is where you come in, Coach Reese. This is what I want people to see. Where you think that it's time to quit, no, we're going to navigate you, grab a hold of you, show you some love, and we're going to coach you up. We're going to give you that mentorship and that support to have you saying, maybe this is not what you're seeing through your pair of glasses.
So let me jump in, because
that was beautiful,
right? So here's something that's funny to me about us humans. That's why I always say life is simple, but we're complicated. Mm-hmm. So if I'm thinking about, right, quitting, using mm-hmm. this, right? If I'm thinking about quitting, right, and I have my list of reasons why, okay, and that's what I'm carrying around. Mm-hmm. So that energy that's what I'm putting out. Mm-hmm. And so to your point, I'm going to start attracting people who are in the same vein. And okay, then it's like, oh man, see, right? I find proof that, right? I find proof, right? I get people to co-sign, right? I find co-conspirators. I find people to kumbaya and link up with. Mm-hmm. And guess what? That's how the world works. Mm-hmm. So if it works that way when I'm pressed about quitting and I have a list of reasons why I should quit, mm-hmm, when I focus on winning and I have a list of reasons why I'm going to win, and I think, speak, and act in a manner that aligns with winning, I'm going to find people that connect that way. Mm-hmm. And when you say that to someone, they don't get it on that side, but they get it over here. It's the same principle. Mm-hmm. How did we find each other? Because our vibe, right? What I was putting out there into the atmosphere, mm-hmm, connected with Johnny and connected with you. And then we got together, and that doesn't happen if I'm not radiating. I'm out here trying to win. I'm working through. I am. So my I am echoing out into the atmosphere. Your I am echoing mm-hmm. out through your work. Johnny's I am echoing out through his work. Linked us together. So the same principle. See, we get excited and celebrate it because it's like, whew, I got some people. Yes, see, you wanted to quit anyway. And you found some co-signers. So if you want to win, see, I truly wanted to win. And God mm-hmm. sent you. But that doesn't happen if I'm sitting on my hands, if I don't continue to show up, if I don't radiate the desire to win, then, right, why there's no point in connecting us, because we're right. going in 2 totally different directions. But then when your mission, right? Of being supportive and lifting up and all those things that you do so amazingly. And my mission of supporting the people and needing you, but we don't get the serendipity going in the right direction. We get it going the wrong way. So the principle is the same. So turn that puppy around and start going the other way, and then find people that align with you becoming the best of you.
Right.
Yeah, I don't got no support, and I don't got no. Well, first you got to support you. See, I was out supporting me,
Right.
and you saw that, and you felt the energy, and then we connected, and now here we sit. You see what I'm saying? She
Right.
said, I want stay connected, family. That's what we do.
Right.
And you know what? If you truly want to win, I love that, family. Then we used to say around my way, right? We say, if you get money, act like it. We used to be shooting dice and talking trash. Bet it. Bet it. Stop playing. If you get money, act like it.
Scared
And
money
then
don't make
on the
money.
basketball court, right? If you a shooter, act like it. And it's like, yo, like if you a shooter, shoot. If you get up, then get up. If you can dunk, dunk. Like it's like, do the thing. So if you really want to win, then you should never have to say that again. Your actions, your thoughts, your words, and your actions should say that. I don't have to tell you what my values are, what my beliefs are, and that I want to win and that who I am. I just do me and it radiates. So, not to say that you can't say it, right? Say it all day long, right? However, make sure that your thoughts, words, and actions align with that bold, beautiful statement.
Right. So I want to say this, and it ties into all of our conversations that we've had so far. What if you have that individual that grew up in a one-parent household, or if they live with their grandparents, or they had some challenges where they did not have mentorship in their life, and they navigated through their life into adulthood all on their own. And they don't know how to find a Coach Reese, or they don't know how to let go of that pride, because their pride will keep them, my mom used to say, a closed mouth don't get fed. Go out there and don't stigmatize yourself and hold your emotions in and be afraid to ask for help. We need to let people know, Coach Reese, it's okay. Let everyone know, the listeners know, it's okay. It's not weakness when you're saying, hey, Coach, I'm at a point where I feel like quitting. Should I quit or pivot? Let it be known so that you can get the help, And I want you to, we're going to get back onto where the plane is going, but I want you to talk about hope and how hope intertwines with this quitting or pivoting. How can they come to you? What is it about hope that you want people to understand?
I love that. Hope. So here's what I'm going to say to that. What they say, what a time to be alive, because you know what? 40 years ago, this isn't possible. What we're doing right now isn't possible. So I believe that we have to decide within ourselves that we want it. And we have to take responsibility to shift our focus. And here's where I call people out and I challenge people, right? And I do it in love. And it gets rough. It gets rougher, more rough when I'm working with you, when we're partnering together, because we can get raw and real, right? And so here's and 100% correct, sis. And so here's the truth of the matter, right? The hope that we're looking for is in us. The hope that we're looking for is in us, right? The person that we need to help us get over this hump is us. And because we have a damaged relationship with ourselves, We don't see ourselves as our way forward. And so we are looking for someone or something to rescue us. And then we find ourselves upset and frustrated at times when, right, that person doesn't appear in the time that we hope, right, we expect or we want or we desire them to show up. And so if you are in a place where you are feeling hopeless, you have to have a moment of honesty with yourself, because I believe if you're feeling hopeless, that you are feeding yourself lies, so much so that they have become your truth. Because to say in a 2026 world that you just don't get, I just, we have access to too much information and too many people, and literally whatever we need, we have access to it in the moment, right? To a certain extent, we have access to it. So, right? So I challenge you, if that's how you're feeling, I believe that you're making a choice, and I help you to see that that's a choice. And the way that I do that is by show me your phone, show me the apps that you use, show me your Google search history, show me those other sites you visit that you don't want to, right? There are things in your life that when you want them, you go get them, but you're choosing not to do so in this particular arena, and it's because of a story that you're telling yourself about yourself. And so I encourage you to take a moment and to give yourself some grace, a lesson my brother Coach D has been really driving home for me. And really be honest with yourself. Again, this is my belief, because again, we all are walking around with these things or some variation of this, right?
Right.
And if we're being honest, that where we spend our time and energy, when we want something, we clearly go get it. If you need an Uber to the mall, you open up Uber and you whoop whoop whoop, you get yourself a ride. If you want to see a particular a man with a certain muscle, you go and look at his page. If you want to see a woman move a certain, you go and do that. And see, I get raw and real if we're really having a conversation. I'm being cute for YouTube, but we could get dirty with it for real. So I challenge you to. I get it. You're in a goofy space, but I need you to focus up, move your body, play that song that gets you hype. Remember who you are, and get moving. The hope is you are your hope. And so I just don't believe hopeless. Not for us. I believe that life is kicking your behind and you're like, woo, and you're frustrated. I believe that. But I just believe that I believe it's more of a lack of focus. It may feel like hopeless, but I believe it's just you're mismanaging your resources. You're just not focused. Or should I say you're focused, but you're just focused on, right, things that are taking from you versus things that empower you, that lift you up, that move you in the direction you need to move. So, and anyone that has access to YouTube to watch this, you're not hopeless. And I mean, throw stones or let's argue, right? But I just don't. Hope is moving in. See, hope is moving. See, action, right? So again, you have to show up for yourself, right? You have to make a decision. And the thing about that is you're already doing it. You chose what you ate today. You chose what you put on to wear, right? You chose to open this particular app versus another. You chose to drink from this particular cup versus the other one. You chose to grab this lotion besides. You're making choices all day long. And so if you feel hope, you're choosing that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the grown up personal. You're choosing that.
Mm-hmm.
If hopeless ever shows up for me, no. Why would that even be on my multiple choice options? Like I'm never choosing that. That's not even an option for me. So that's my take on that. And I get it, and I love you. I love you. But you're not hopeless. You're not hopeless. You don't want to take responsibility. and love you like I do, there's nothing, there's no magical being that's going to show up and do it for you. We're here to help you. I'm as magical as they come, but I can't do it for you. I can help you. I can guide you. Listen, if you get out there and fight, and it's 4 of them, it's 4 against 2. I'm rumbling. We tearing it. But if you get out there and you run, that's what you running. I'm not going to go fight them. That's your fight. So I don't buy it. And if someone wants to talk through that with me, even challenge me, even tell me, but you don't know, because let's have that conversation, because I'm always open to learn and open for a deeper understanding. However, if you have access to me, how the hell are you hopeless and I exist?
You know, I'm sitting here. I always say after you speak, how you expect me to follow behind that. But I'm in the capacity of asking questions.
Going. Let's rock and roll.
So,
yeah,
so I don't have
we
to
got
follow
a few more
behind
minutes.
anything. So
exactly.
You know, I always say HBO help a brother out, and that's exactly what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? You actually helping a brother out and helping me understand to get out of my own way. All of this is all about, sometimes we can be our own worst enemy. We can look in that mirror and see our own reflection, but we put too much thought into unnecessary things. So now when I talk about putting too much thought into things, I'm gonna ask you a 2-part question. What are some questions that someone should ask themselves before actually quitting? And what are some questions that someone should ask themselves before actually making a pivot? And take your time. It's all good.
What are some questions one should ask themselves before quitting? Okay. So, and what are some questions one should ask? So I believe that the quitting, right? I believe that the quitting, I don't believe we should quit on ourselves ever. So I don't believe that quitting the journey is an option, because it's not. I do believe in quitting bad habits, right? Quitting weak thinking, quitting. There are a lot of things that we can quit: divorce, distance ourselves from, change, right? Poor habits, unhealthy habits. We need to quit some of those things and replace them with healthy things. So as far as the question I need to ask myself, or I would encourage you to ask, well, no, I ask myself, right? As I'm examining my life, right? So first of all, let me slow down. I need to have an honest self-assessment. I need to take an honest look at my life, how I'm spending my time, what my goals are, right? Am I pursuing a goal? Am I chasing your goal because you got the cool background and the cool microphone, and you said something awesome, and I'm like, wow, I want to do that. So I need to really do an honest self-assessment to get clear on where I am and see where I'm at in this season, and are my goals the same? The goal could have been mine 2 years ago, but now, February 26th, excuse me, I'm a different person. I've evolved, and now things have changed a bit. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I'm still in pursuit of a thing. However, the thing may look a little different. But I need to assess myself in that moment. And notice I keep saying an honest self-assessment. So I need to do that. And then I need to evaluate how I'm spending my time. How am I spending my time? And then I need to run all of my habits through the filter of, is this moving me toward my goal? Is this helping me to close the gap? Is this adding to me or taking away from me? One of my rules is nothing gets to take from me. So if it's taking from me, I need to figure this out. I need to solve this, because I only want things that add to me. And again, I believe adversity adds to me, right? I believe problems add to me because I'm a problem solver, right? Adversity shows me the awesomeness that's buried in there. It calls on me to be great. So nothing gets to take from me. So if I feel like something is taking from me, I need to investigate that. And then I need to think about the steps, the time, the energy, right? The effort, the whatever I'm putting into this particular thing, right? I need to, is this moving me closer? Is this adding to me? Is this taking away? Is this helping me close the gap? Is this helping me become a better man, a better husband, a better father, a better servant of God? And I need to have these honest conversations with myself. And if you need a person or even tools to help you with that, they are available. Hello, they are available. You don't have to wing it. Right? You don't have to just wing this, right? We can literally play 20 questions and I can help you to, right? I can help you to get some clarity around this particular thing. But so it takes a deep level of honesty, which takes a deep level of courage. And sadly, most people don't want no parts of that. Most people don't want no parts of having an honest moment. You know why? Because distraction is so easy. It's so easy to get. I can pick this up and I can literally transport myself to anywhere I want to go to. And silly me, not realizing that I can pick this up and I can transport myself to becoming the man that I want to become. But I forget that I can do that. Instead, I go watch silly cat videos or whatever it is people do to waste their time and energy. And so, yeah, so there's that challenge there, right? That we have to challenge ourselves, and we have to. It takes courage. It's simple. Is it easy? No, but it's very simple, and there's support available to us. We have to tap into it. Hey, y'all, I don't even remember the question. What was the
No,
question? Did I even
no,
answer the question? I don't
no,
even remember the
you
question.
did, but you answered them both you answered them both. And I knew that the type of questions that I wanted to ask you, or that I feel like should be asked with our topics, is where you can explain thoroughly, because a lot of people, I've always said mentoring and life coaching is an overcrowded niche. Everybody's doing it. They feel it's easy, so they are the subject matter experts. Kind of where I have an issue with that is people are not speaking from, they want to give wisdom, but it doesn't sound like it'll fit me. Everybody's kind of in that cookie cutter. And Reese, you're not like everyone else. And I'm not talking about physical stature. I'm not talking about looks. What I mean is the way that you give your message. What God aligns for our assignment is to notice where our alignment needs to be placed. Sometimes our alignment is misplaced. What we may deem to be aligned is not alignment at all.
Truth.
It's our emotional weakness that guides us, our decision making. And what I wanted you to do tonight, you have done that in a great format. And as we keep going and we tackle these subject matters that's not only important to you but our community, it feels good to be in service. I tell you, it feels good to be partnered up with someone such as yourself.
Facts.
That wants to be of service of their community, because I know that I was placed on this earth. It's not about me, it's about us. I said that when I coached football. I said that when I was a leader in the military. And I say that now. And I started with calling myself out on my own BS. My BS meter was off the Richter scale because I wasn't calling myself out. I was too busy ready to quit. But that's crazy because I was in the military and we always said I will never quit. So I appreciate you for tonight. Now for parting ways.
We done? Oh man,
No, not me. No, not me. This is all about you, my brother. This is, I'm preaching partly. I can get up there and speak all night, but it's not about me. It's about us. So now what I want you to
chat. We need some questions. Throw some questions in there, chat.
Yeah.
Go ahead, fam.
No, go ahead. Like if anybody has something that they would like to say in regards to that, put it into the chat. Let him speak on it. But I just wanted to say to you is, is there anything in the chat? Because I can't see what you see. Is there anything that someone put out that you want to respond to?
Let me see here. Just a couple of things that were said when I was talking about focus. This comment came up. Being intentional can help us with focus. Absolutely. Or help us make sure we're focusing on what we need to be focused on exactly. Because we're always focused. We're always focused. The issue becomes, what the heck are we focused on? And that's where we abuse ourselves, because abuse is misuse. So focus is one of our superpowers. And silly us, we spend so much of our time and energy focused on things that take from us instead of focusing on things that empower us and lift us up and help us to grow and become more. So we're always focused, but we got to take responsibility and be intentional, right, with what we're focused on. So we have to take ownership for that. We have to own it. So we have to, I love that. We have to be intentional with our focus because we're always focused. Sadly, we're focused on garbage most of the time.
Was there anything else that someone said? Let's go through the comments.
Yeah, something just popped up. So, okay. Ooh, yeah, we cooking now.
Okay.
When I put this on the screen, can you see it?
No, but it's not. It's all good on my end.
I just want to make sure. How can we help our male loved ones feel mentally supported? How can we help our male loved ones feel mentally supported? This is not just romantically, but just males, period. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. So just like you ladies, we want to be seen. We want to be heard. We want to be understood, right? We want to be seen. We want to be heard. We want to be understood. We want to be considered, right? And so mentally supported, I love. So we want you to pay attention. We want you to listen to us, even when we're not making sense. We want you to have an awareness with us when we are off, right? That you check in and you check in a way that works for and with us. Sometimes you good is not enough. Because most of us are, what are we going to say? Yeah, I'm good. Like, I'm not going to give that to you. Why would I do that? So the way to reach us is through a little bit of extra effort, right? You gotta come over to where we are, right? You have to show us that you care, and some ways to do that. For instance, let's use myself, right? So if you say, hey, I didn't get to tap in. Let's say you're my sister, right? Hey, I got the message, right? That you were live. What was the chat about tonight? Right? What was say less. We'll do that tomorrow. So what was the chat about tonight? And it's like, bam, we were talking about, quitting and pivoting and oh man, what was, okay. Tell me, give me the Cliff's notes. Tell me a little bit about that. Why is that important? Because this is the life that I live. This is what I think about all the time, right? These concepts and solving these problems and taking things that are complicated and breaking them down and simplifying them and passing them along to people in a way that not only makes sense, but also adding actionable advice. And so if you show some interest in what I have going on, that's magic. You know how I connect with my son in there, right? He's playing the game on there with his friends. Hey, what you guys playing today? What world are you in? Let me see. Oh, I hear you always talking about this server, that server, that server. How can you tell the difference in what server is? What's the difference? See, I come into his world. I don't really care, but I care about him. I don't really care, but I care about him. Right? If I go out there and stay with me, right? And my wife is watching Love is Blind, right? That's the thing this week. Okay. Oh, okay. Which one is this? I know this is one of those dating shows. Which one is this? This is the one where they're in the pods and they don't get to see each other. And okay. Any interesting couples? Any funny couples? Anybody you think when they see each other are going to be disappointed or man? I really don't care, but I love her to pieces. So I show interest in what she's interested in, right? And what that does is it sets up a situation where when something is heavy, right, for her, or let's go back to my son. We're talking about males. When something is heavy for him, he's used to having a dialogue with me more than, how was your day? Did you do your homework? Eat your peas. No, I'm interested in his world. And so that builds bridges. So you have to build bridges. And so if he loves football and you could care less, right? Don't look up some stats and say something brilliant and goofy unless you're doing it as a joke. However, you know what I mean? Whoa, Super Bowl was a few weeks ago. You all right? I know how you, I know what you, I know you know, your Sundays were packed and your weekends were, what's going on? You know, what you replacing that with? You replacing that with me? If it's the hubby, right? You replacing that with me? Or if it's your brother, what you do? I know how you get for football season and that's over. What you doing with your Sundays now? You want to connect with him or your son or whatever. You see where I'm going? It's building bridges, right? So pay attention to them and get to know them and do it on normal, regular things, right? Because again, we want to set up a situation where when there's a fire, I'm comfortable with coming to you, with talking to you, being interested. Exactly. And it doesn't have to be this. It's 2 minutes. It's a minute. If I pop in there and ask him some questions about the game or what's this, what's that, boop, 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 I built the bridge. Guess what? He don't want me in there longer than that quick minute. But
Exactly.
the fact that I did that, right? The fact that here's the golden rule. Ask one more question than your norm. Just add one more layer to it. One more, like, that you're actually interested in what I got going on. And don't insert yourself. This is a struggle for us. I'm going to say for me, right? Don't get into a competition with me. Don't get into a competition with me. Today was one of them days. Oh, don't I know it, man? They were tripping at my job. You just hijacked the situation. Your question was about being mentally, what did you call it? Mentally supported. If I say, this is going on, that's going on, and I'm trying to open up, and then you respond with your version of that, you literally just hijacked the moment and made it about you. And so if you want me to feel mentally supported, that stop doing that type of stuff. So there's ways to do it. It ain't about you. If you ask me how I'm doing, can it be about me for 1 minute? You get what I'm saying? And again, that's romantic relationship. That's your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your dad, your son. Right? When you say, how was school today? What's going on? And it's like, man, I was in 10th grade. Now, there are times when that's appropriate, when we're swapping stories and we're talking trash and we're laughing and whoop-de-wop. But on a day-to-day, if every time you respond with, why would I want to engage? Because in our minds, everything is always about you guys anyway. And we're okay with that. We're okay with deprioritizing ourselves in a sense when it comes to emotional things and prioritizing you guys and making sure you're okay because we navigate things in a different manner. However, if you care enough to want to connect, right, then if you want to mentally support me, these are some simple ways to do it. And that hijacking the moment thing is something that can destroy it. That's something I hate that. And to some people, that's just normal. Like, okay, we're talking about fidget spinners. I'm like, man, yeah, I really like this, Joan, man. I think I'm gonna get me some more. Yeah, I had me one. It was black and it had the thing, and it's like, okay, tell me more. Because I love you. I'm gonna be interested, and now it all shifts. It was supposed to be about me for 42 seconds, and I guess I got 4 seconds. Lucky me. And I'm over exaggerating to make the point of what men wrestle with. So if you want to be mentally supportive, and I could do a whole class on this. Like, I do this, as you can see. Anyway, what else? Any other questions? So look, Coach D, somebody popped on there. Richmond, Virginia homes for sale. Let's see. He said, let's see. This is some good stuff. I'd be interested in hearing a dialogue on healing our relationship with ourselves.
We got that tomorrow.
That's something I talk about all the time. Yeah, say less. Tomorrow, yeah, that's our Friday. We'll dive into that. That's easy breezy. Appreciate that.
Go ahead, give me that again, because I want to make sure I get that.
In fact, let me see if I can copy this puppy. Yep, I sure can.
That's too easy. And we appreciate our listeners for participating and sharing their honest thoughts about this, because one thing that I don't want to do is not ask the proper questions to put Coach Reese in the position to not shine, to show his skill set of mentoring. Because this is not about me. I wanted to partner up with him to basically be of service to everyone else. I don't want accolades. I just want to be able to assist my brother in growing and doing what God has called him to do several years ago. And he's doing this when he could choose to do something for himself. You know, when people always look, I call mentors similar to first responders, because in order to be a first responder, you know, to work like the nurses, to go out there and work with patients, especially during the COVID time. You know, they could have chose to give up. They could have chose to quit, but they stood in the fight. And one thing that I admire you for doing after all these years of service and pivoting each and every year is that you're still here fighting the good fight. And who wouldn't want to be a part of that? You know what I'm saying? So, is there anything else that you want to respond to that's in the comments?
No other questions were in there. I did pop smoke just a second ago, and I asked were there any other questions. So did you have a closing question or something? We can go ahead and wrap it up.
You already know how I'm gonna do. I got two quotes I want to leave people with real quick.
Okay, bring us home.
So the decision isn't about quitting or pivoting. It's about choosing a version of yourself that you can live with the outcome. All right.
Love that.
And then my last quote would be, before you change direction, make sure you change your honesty with yourself. The right move becomes clearer when the excuses get quiet. So I'm going to say tonight wasn't about telling you what decision to make. It wasn't about making the right decision or where you are right now. I just want you, before you log off of this, is to take time and check in with yourself. Not fear, not other people's expectations, just you.
Facts.
If you need some help through this process, you know, reach out to Coach Reese for a consultation. You know, and
we don't need consultations.
You know,
we don't need consultations. Just
yeah,
schedule a call and let's dive on into it. Consultations are for people who you need to figure out if they can help you. If I'm your person, you know it. If life is really kicking your butt and you in a pickle, and if you really want solutions and you really want to solve this thing, I'm your person. If you just want to vent or do something else, maybe I'm not your person. So we only need consultations, right? Because I just consultated for an hour and a half.
Right, that free game.com.
You know what I'm saying? I consultate every day. So if you need consultation, that's everywhere. I want the people that's ready to work. I don't want to talk you into or convince you to. When you ready to work, let's work.
All right. And the last, I can't get no clearer than that. But I will say this, and then we'll end. Clarity comes when you stop running from the question and start listening to it. So with that being said, everybody, I appreciate y'all for being here. I'm Coach D with the Davis Experience, or the Davis Effect. You got me saying Coach Reese Experience and putting experience on me. Exactly. But listen, we appreciate y'all. We salute y'all. We pray that everyone is blessed and covered. And we'll see you next time at the Coach Reese Experience.
What you say to that? Shout out to my brother and his radio
Salute,
voice.
my brother.
Much love, y'all. Stay sharp.